Let me first say how much I regret not being in the room with you. Only the cancellation of a United Airlines flight late Thursday night has kept me away. Macedonia is a country of which I'm very fond, not least because it's demonstrated its capacity to react effectively to crisis. You are in the midst of a crisis today, one that has cast doubt on the integrity of the institutions your democracy has built over the past quarter century. There's nothing unusual about political crises in democracies. The United States has enjoyed democracy for over 2 centuries. We still have political crises that revolve around abuse of power, some would say far too often. Nor are we immune from publication of confidential communications. The first resort in any crisis should be to your own institutions, your president, your parliament, your courts, your ombudsman, your press, and your civil society. It's my hope that you'll use these institutions to the maximum degree feasible in clarifying, investigating, and eventually prosecuting those whose behavior is contrary to the law. Parliamentary oversight is particularly important. Boycotts in a democracy really serve no purpose but to cut off those who boycott from making a contribution. But there are situations that require more than a country's own institutions. None of us live in a vacuum, but small countries need to worry more about how neighbors, friends, and allies react. You are not the United States, with centuries of consolidated constitution, friendly neighbors north and south, a giant economy, and 2 great oceans to protect your shores. You are a small, landlocked European country with aspirations to join NATO and the EU. I support those aspirations, which are not so far from realization. Your soldiers have proven themselves, integrated with the Vermont National Guard in combat in Afghanistan. The defense reforms you undertook after the Ohrid Agreement have put you on track for NATO membership. The European Commission has repeatedly determined you are ready to open negotiations for accession to the EU. Economic reforms starting about a decade ago boosted your prospects. But your southern neighbor, Greece, had already blocked both the EU and NATO tracks before the current crisis struck. Countries, like bicycles, need forward motion, or else they fall over. Now you have to pick yourselves up. I'm a friend of Macedonia, but I need to tell you frankly that the leaked telephone conversations and the taping of those conversations have damaged your international standing. They reflect shocking abuses of political and state power. I doubt you can bank on either NATO or the EU even treating you as well as you've been treated in recent years, which was already unsatisfactory from your point of view, and I must say also from my point of view. You're going to need international help to recover. My understanding is that the European Parliament has offered and your authorities have accepted some sort of facilitation of dialogue or mediation. That is good and even necessary, but not sufficient. I wouldn't, of course, want to prejudge the outcome of the dialogue, but you need to think hard about how to restore both domestic and international confidence in your governing institutions. Macedonia needs a parliament in which all the country's political forces sit comfortably. It needs a government that welcomes criticism and dissent. It needs a presidency that represents all the citizens. It needs independent courts, as Peter has just said, that pursue malfeasance effectively and impartially, even when committed by the highest authorities or by the political opposition. No foreigner can tell you how to achieve these things. You know better than we do, and you'll have to discover how to do it. But let me offer two suggestions to restore international confidence. First, end the winner-take-all political mentality that has prevailed in recent years. And second, make your institutions more transparent and your politicians more accountable. One possible approach I know people are interested in would be a technocratic government to prepare new elections. But I don't see how you can displace the existing government, which commands a wide majority, at least for the moment. Even withdrawal of Dewey would not guarantee fall of the government, which is not inclined to resign. Another suggestion I've heard is to solve the name issue that has slowed your reform push. But I see little possibility that in Greece's current circumstances, much as I would like to see it happen. Even entry into NATO as the FIROM, something I've advocated vigorously, seems to be a bridge too far at the moment, much as I would like to see it. Any solution to your current crisis will need to ensure both that people cannot be taped illegally and that illegal wiretapping will not be used for political gain. More generally, it will also need to ensure that political parties cannot abuse power or the state apparatus for partisan purposes. That implies a far more independent judiciary and a far more active press and civil society than you enjoy today. Dewey is an important part of the picture and needs to think about how it can help to restore confidence in government institutions. That means first and foremost making certain its own behavior and the behavior of its representatives in government is impeccably clean. Dewey also needs to think about how it can collaborate with its coalition partners and the opposition parties to ensure transparency and accountability across the political spectrum. A commission of inquiry into the wiretapping and its political exploitation is one possibility, perhaps with international participation. A white paper, an authoritative white paper recommending political reforms, political and judicial reforms, could help Macedonia find its way through the current morass. Your country is facing great challenges, also great opportunities. You've gone a long way with economic reforms. Now you have to go that same distance with political and judicial reforms. The things you are learning about your political and judicial systems aren't pretty, but they are real. Fix them, and you can expect strong support from the Americans, certainly from me personally. I'll of course let the Europeans speak for themselves, but listening to Peter, I think the attitude is very much the same. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry I'm not there with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Serwer. Very valuable contribution to the conference. I appreciate, I know it's very early in the morning. We have kept you awake. Hope you can stay a little longer with us. I believe that we will have some comments later on for you. But they were really very valuable comments, and we are very appreciative of your role in the entire region, in particular Macedonia, but also the role of the United States of America for peace, stability, and security, not only Macedonia, but the entire region of the Western Balkans. Thank you very much.
Thank you.